Hey guys, welcome back with another quick impressions video. It's Halloween horror month, so I thought I review a couple of horror games this month, and I'm going to start with a very short and budget indie title. It's one of those games, developed by like a one-man shop type of deal. And the game is The Horror of Salazar House, a very, again, budget title indie game that resembles the old school Macventure games of the late 80s, kind of like the original Shadowgate and some other titles that were on that platform, with a very specific look and feel, very antiquated look. And obviously this is a point and click adventure game that, it's horror themed. It has a lot of charm to it, in terms of the presentation and the way the game is set up. Unfortunately, the game is a little bit shallow and flat overall. I understand, this is an indie game, very low budget. It was made by one person, but I think that overall it's a very, very good effort. It's a interesting horror game that I will definitely recommend for you guys to try if you're interested in what you see and hear about this game and my impressions, I guess. So the game takes place, in terms of the story, you take the role of I believe her name is Elisa, and you're a reporter that has been assigned the investigation of the house of Salazar, which is a house where this horror book writer lived there, and then he and his family recently had been murdered. So you as a reporter have a very tough job of going and investigating in order to write a report. So that's how the game starts. And for the Steam version of this game, because this game was originally available on the itch platform for free, so the Steam version, it's kind of like the complete edition, if you will. It includes kind of like the pre-game, where you play as Elisa, or the reporter, and then you get a call from your boss, and you're in your apartment, and so you have like a 30-minute type of very short epilogue, I guess. For before your adventure begins, which is a nice addition for the Steam version, and I think it adds a lot in terms of the story. So I definitely recommend playing that first part of the game first before you delve into the proper House of Salazar horror game. And then as far as the proper game, obviously it starts when the reporter gets there. And then once you get inside the mansion or the House of Salazar, it becomes a like a point and click adventure game where you have a map, and you can go up and down or left or right, and each room has their own number of items and puzzle elements that need to be solved. And soon you find out how the game plays, in the sense that some rooms have like death traps, and depending of certain things of what you do, you may die, and so forth. So the game does have save points that you can access in certain rooms. So I highly recommend you save a lot in this game, because the element of dying is out there around every corner. Another cool element that ends up becoming very annoying, in my opinion, is that you have all these chase sequences by this lady from Salazar House, that she will chase you with like a knife, and it's at first it's pretty cool, because the way to to get by her is you have to run from her and then hide in like closets or chests, kind of like Outlast or Clock Tower type of a gameplay feature, if you will. And then once you hide and wait a little bit, then she goes by, and then you can come out and start exploring again. But towards the end of the game, the frequency of this enemy chasing you, it's like increased, and it becomes extremely annoying. The closer you're getting to solving the game, the more she appears, and it becomes being very, very annoying. Graphically, the game, obviously, it's very simple. It has a very unique monochromatic type of look. Each room has like a one color kind of like scheme. Some rooms are like all blue, some rooms are all yellow, and the danger of the game, the danger rooms are typically red, and when the chase sequences start, they're also, the rooms change to red to kind of like inform you, the player, of the imminent danger. Unfortunately, some of the puzzles, in my opinion, were a little bit shallow. Most of them are fairly easy to figure it out. So I wish the game had a little bit of a better puzzle design. And another complaint that I have is that the House of Salazar itself, it's divided in a lot of rooms, a lot of squares, and then most of the squares actually don't have anything. So there's nothing to explore, nothing to examine in certain squares. And I'm not saying every single square inside a house should have had something, but I think it would have been nice to just maybe add more puzzles or maybe more things to do inside the house itself. So a lot of the squares in the map are just empty and don't offer much of anything. The game has multiple endings. I believe there's 8 endings, and I've gotten so far 6 or 7. The reason why I haven't gotten all of them is I have to replay the game entirely in order to get that last ending. But I did get the true ending and a couple other ones, and I highly suggest that you go for a couple of the endings. The more endings you watch, the better it explains the story. I'm not going to spoil anything, but you learn more about Salazar and his family and the motives behind what happened, and in terms of the murders and everything like that. So I highly recommend to go for all the endings. And I think I'm missing only one ending, and I put around 2 hours in the game. So definitely this game, in order to unlock all the endings, it probably takes 3 hours or less. So it's a fairly short game, and hence why I recommend getting this on during a sale, because the game is very short, and again, it's on the shallow side in my opinion. The game could have been better with more puzzles and things to do to explore. But nevertheless, the game has a very interesting horror element that, despite the very simplistic nature of the graphics and the very simplistic nature of the sound effects, which I thought were pretty good for being a creepy game, the game does build a very good sense of horror, a good sense of connecting to the story that I appreciated it, and I thought it was a pretty decent effort on behalf of this, I want to say Chilean developer. I think the developer is from Chile, and again, indie, a low budget game, you can't expect a whole lot, but once again, if you guys are interested in very old school Macventure, I guess, inspired games, this one may be worth a shot, especially if it's on sale. You can get it for like $1 or less sometimes on Steam at least. But other than that, yeah, The Horror of Salazar House, a very interesting low-budget indie title. Unfortunately, a little bit shallow in terms of gameplay. I think the game could have been better, but very interesting in terms of being a horror game, the way it's presented with the simplistic audio and graphics effects. I think the game does have a couple scary moments that are, in my opinion, were worth, at least for me. So with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later. Take it easy.